say the,
Yeah, I'm
course material?
gonna look right here. See.
Okay. Is it still available?
I don't think I've had issues before, but yeah, no, it's no longer available.
Hey Tom, how you doing?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have a question. I know the auditor is supposed to ask the board, when they come out and do the audit, if we had any questions for him to look at. And I know one year when Cliff was, chair, he said they asked him, he said no, but they're supposed to have come to the board and these asked, and I had some questions. So I'm not getting what you're telling him or what he's looking at, and he may not be reviewing some stuff that I had concerns about.
Yeah, I can hear you. But we on mute. You on mute. We're on mute, friend. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, I can hear you.
Okay. Might need to turn it up a little bit.
Okay, so then also, we have to discuss the committees for your, evaluation, and it wasn't discussed, it wasn't put in the minutes, and it wasn't discussed in the executive session, when they were handed out. So, I have mine, and I know legally that's not just handed to one person, that's not the process. So if you're not gonna follow the process, I'm just gonna submit it to other entities. So I'm just giving you a heads up so it don't become a
You
surprise.
talking to me?
I'm talking to all of you here.
Oh, okay. Cause I'm your employee, so that's
Right.
so much, your colleagues.
Mhm.
John Ramsey.
Can you hear us, John?
Yes.
It's only four of
I
us.
never received an actual.
I knew I gotta read this.
follow with, you got
This meeting will come to order. It's noted in the book of minutes that the required 48-hour notice was mailed to the office of the Times, Trentonian, and the clerk of the city of Trenton, as well as posted in the main entrance of the authority, 875 New Willow Street, in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law. Roll call.
Commissioner Guerrero,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Raines.
Here.
Here. Commissioner Gentry.
Here. We have a motion for the adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second. Any questions on the agenda?
I think the agenda should be, if it's not revised, my question is, how long will it be for the presentation for the urban strategies? Because, we have the auditor, and again, as I stated, that, the auditor's given us, his analysis of his evaluation, but the auditor has not yet, since I've been on the board, come to us about concern, but I'd like to know how long these presentations are gonna be, because it seems like we're gonna be rushing through, how many resolutions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 8 resolutions, and we have 2 presentations.
The record should reflect that both Commissioner Green and Commissioner Wells joined the meeting at 12:05. Currently, there's a motion to adopt the agenda. Commissioner Durrett has just made some remarks about her concerns about the length of the agenda and some items on it, so I don't know if there's any other comments.
It's kind of hard to determine how long the presentation will be, but I don't believe it's that long. Not
Right, but
because-
I don't wanna be rushed, because our business is, the administration's business. So, you know, when it comes down to us addressing the secretary's report, I don't wanna be rushed, because we're on a time limit, and I got 3 minutes to address this and that, because that's not what I'm here. I put my time in, my due diligence, and I don't wanna be rushed about an urban strategy presentation that you should have given us something more than putting it on the agenda. I don't know anything about this company, and as I said, it should have been some other information, so I would have been prepared to hear the presentation, and it wouldn't probably taken so long. So I don't know. Have you had a chance to hear Urban Strategies and Company and what they're here for?
That's the point, see, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you don't have any other information.
They were approved in the September meeting, I believe. Is that correct?
Right, and I said in the September meeting,
Well,
But you would like a presentation from them. That's what you
okay,
said.
okay, that's what I'm saying. So this is going, we have 2. We got the auditors and them for a 2-hour meeting. This is not supposed to be less than 2 hours or more than 2 hours. That's my point.
Commissioner Guerrero.
What am I?
On the adoption of
Adoption
the
of the
agenda.
agenda.
No,
Commissioner Green.
my concerns weren't addressed.
Commissioner Green.
She's on mute.
You're on mute, Commissioner Green.
It looks like it's frozen. It's not.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Weldon.
Yes.
Chairman Gentry.
Yes.
And
Mr. Green is back. She gave a thumbs up, I think. I'm not sure.
Commissioner Green, adoption of the agenda.
She's on mute.
She's on mute.
It's frozen.
So at this time, Christie, would you like to introduce urban strategy?
Well, you don't have to go in there because it's not on that regard.
Okay, I'm just trying to pull up the presentation, but
I can show you what it
Do
says.
we have anything?
They're gonna full presentation.
But you don't have anything, no paperwork or nothing on it?
Give it a second.
Approve the company at the.
I did not approve the company.
Well, you
They
got
had, where they
the-
had
you got the
materials they
information.
presented to
You got
us.
You got all the information because we had a special meeting to approve urban strategies Inc.
I wasn't at the special meeting.
You were at the special meeting, you requested a presentation.
Right, but where is the stuff like with Michael's? Where is the information about the company, the,
It was provided,
partners?
it was provided at the
Provided
special
at
meeting.
the
It was
special
provided
meeting.
as a part of the documentation for the
They're
special
from
meeting.
St. Louis. They had all kinds of material in there.
I wasn't at the meeting. You
Oh.
didn't invite me to the meeting. You told me it was too many, commissioners at that meeting. It wouldn't have been appropriate for me to attend that meeting.
Commissioner Garrett,
September 27th.
we had a special board meeting which you attended.
Okay.
It was reflected in the last meeting's minutes. You were in
I
attendance.
read them, but it didn't say anything about the company really. It didn't go into much detail.
The material was supplied before the meeting, both from them and from the competing company, which was from Trenton.
Okay, can I have a copy of what was supplied, please, before we go on?
that's what I was thinking about doing.
No, we're gonna go on with the presentation.
Oh, no. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not getting up.
Yeah, but you get up for other stuff.
Kristen.
I'm waiting for a quick comment.
So, just to let you guys know, I can't read that. It's Commissioner Green speaking. My apologies.
Okay, thank you. She's,
What did she?
Is that?
And it did not have the bio of the company.
Sure, yeah.
It did not.
This-
Right. She was on mute.
She's on,
Oh, okay.
she's on now.
I'm able to unmute now. I just had a little slow moment. Are you waiting for me?
No, we're
No.
waiting to get the presentation up.
Okay, all right.
Got it.
I don't know how y'all wanna, ladies go.
I'll go quick for my So, thank you, wait for Mr. Girl to get back. Okay. Good afternoon, Commissioners. We have a presentation from Urban Strategies, Inc. They are our people lead that we acquired for our Choice Neighborhood implementation grant. I'm going to bring up Demetria Murphy-Watson and her team to do a presentation. And during this presentation, they will tell all about what Urban Strategies does and how they work nationally with other housing authorities, and also what they would do for the housing authority here for our Choice Neighborhood plan.
Thank you. Good morning and or afternoon. My name is Demetria Murphy-Watson. I serve as the Senior Director for Urban Strategies. Accompanied from our team today is Tyrana Mentor, Raven Pugh, and also Fatu. So today, again, as Christy mentioned, we're going to give a presentation about Choice Neighborhoods.
Thank you.
So on our brief agenda, we're just going to do a quick overview about what TNI is, what your expectations could be of us as your people partner, and also any questions and questions you might have. So choice as a concept, choice is to address neighborhoods that has these challenges in distressed communities. There are three components: people, housing, and neighborhood. As reference, we will serve as your people lead, ultimately to help support the city of Trenton and also the housing authority bring a $50 million to the table. Our core partners for this project is going to be the housing authority, also the city of Trenton, and USI. So when we say people, as it relates to the Choice Neighborhood Implementation Grant, people defined by HUD is those that are living in targeted housing communities. The targeted housing community for this opportunity is Dunley Homes. Specifically via HUD, it should be noted that adults mean those that are 18 plus, and children are those that are 0 to 18. Also, it should be noted, as we are going through a relocation, Urban Strategies will be supporting people here currently that live in Dunley, people that relocate, and then people that will return. USI as an organization, we have 45 years of experience. We are a national leader, a non-for-profit in our field. We specialize in result human-informed services to really support development efforts, planning efforts, and strategy implementation for overall comprehensive neighborhood revitalization. Our mission is to ensure that all families are stable and thriving. So everything that we do, that we talk about, is going to have our mission at its core. As it relates to the map on the right of the screen, the map really shows where Urban Strategies is. Specifically, again, in the context of choice, everything that you see in the light blue bubbles are the people leads where we are around the country. Also, everything in the dark blue is similar to our people strategy work. However, it is not using choice as a vessel. This map is to really show that we have used choice before in a lot of communities, but also we are doing other types of place-based services to, again, ensure that all families are stable and thriving. Supporting families, our network. We support over 30,000 families. We're working with 17 school systems, 4 senior living communities, 24 human capital services. Ultimately, we are focused on 100,000 units of public housing and or mixed income communities. We have supported year to date in our 45 years of service 19 implementation grants as a people and or neighborhood lead, ultimately bringing back to those communities $480 million. We have also supported 3 planning grants, which you all have one. And altogether, our service or our network brings back to communities $3 billion in public and private dollars. Next slide. So how we work. This is a roadmap. It's really meant to show our targeted audience that we support when we say all families are stable and thriving. You can work with us via education, health, housing, mobility, economic mobility, policy, resident engagement. There is no one point to enter. Usually when we're working with communities similar to this office here, we're in the communities in which we serve. Usually our offices are taking the housing unit, converting it into office hours to where we're easily accessible. We hire from the communities in which we work. We use place-based strategies to determine what may work best for communities. We hire culturally competent staff to ultimately create service coordination. My favorite example of how we work is during COVID-19, when a gentleman that works in one of our home offices in St. Louis came to us for health insurance. He lost his job due to COVID-19. He needed health insurance. When he left our office after working with our family support managers, he left with health insurance, a new job, a Section 3 opportunity where he became a construction manager, going from making $0 an hour to $40K. Today, he's still employed on the same site, earning more. He's now opened his own business, and he's also gotten loans from some of our CDFI work that we also do in St. Louis. Click it one more time. Deepening our work. At Urban, we understand that a lot of the communities in which we serve did not happen or are not situated like this overnight. So what you often see is, again, our pillars of service, which is education, health and wellness, housing stabilization, economic mobility, policy, and engagement. However, when we train our staff, when we really work, we're focusing on everything that's unseen. The patterns of behavior, the structural racism, working with housing authorities and its systems, working on mental models that will really help determine why isn't this person getting a job? Why are their families in situations like this? What are the real struggles? So 80% of our time and our services is under the iceberg. It's not what you see. Next slide. So again, in context of Trenton, we're focused today on Battle Monument neighborhood. Next slide. We toured the neighborhood today. Thank you for your time. So when we really wanted to understand Donnelly, so this is just a snapshot. We don't have to go into the granular of the demographic data here, but we really wanted to share this with you, and as we're sharing it with our partners, to understand when we say all families are stable and thriving, determining the stark differences. When you look at the city of Trenton and its population, its median income being almost $40K. However, those that are working in Donnelly being at $11K, that's a problem. That's our work. The survey data, the Housing Authority has done a phenomenal job in its planning efforts, surveying and getting a response rate of over 67%. And so we understand some of the demographics in which we're serving, and we're going to also use that as contextual data to inform our strategies. Next slide. So again, when we talk about choice, housing, HUD has a specific set of guidelines in which we must measure and monitor, which we will administer for you. So economic mobility, the result that HUD is asking us to achieve is that all households are economically stable. The metrics in which we will do to make sure that we're reaching that mark is the number of percentage of able-bodied individuals that are between 18 to 64 that have a wage income, and also the average annual income. So we've done a little bit of research. We understand now that 602 individuals live currently at Donnelly. There's about 313 families, and right now 58% are considered able-bodied. So again, those are 18 to 64. you do not receive SSI or SSDI. We can work with everyone. However, HUD is monitoring and measuring just those individuals. So we know to do our work now in time is 156 individuals. We know that those that receive income, generally speaking income, the average wage is 20K. Now you may say, what is the difference between 11 to 20? That includes people that have public assistance. This is that includes people that had wage income originally. This number is all income. What is your average income? In terms of struggling for employment, again, we're working under the iceberg. And so we need to know and understand. People have difficulty finding a job, overcoming their criminal history, finding quality childcare, and the list goes on. So our job, while we're here in Trenton and beyond, is to really work with those partners to address those specific barriers. Not just say, people are unemployed, let's get them jobs, but let's look at the barriers. Health and wellness. The result is that children, youth, and adults have an increased access to health care and improved physicians' physical and mental health outcomes. Again, individuals, and click one more time for me, Taronda. Individuals are 602, 313 families. Specifically, we called out the seniors because we know that there is a 13% population here. What seniors are need may be different from health and wellness from what a family needs. So knowing that from the beginning is a good strategy. Also, understanding the chronic health concerns. You can go back one slide. One slide. So understanding the chronic health concerns. So as you may know, HUD is asking us from a metric stance to understand how many residents, targeted residents, have a place where they go regularly, and or how many targeted residents have health insurance. When you look at Dunley numbers, it's pretty high. 90% have a place where they go. 92% already have health insurance. So Urban, what are you doing? Well, we're looking at those with chronic health concerns. Just because you have a place to go, where are you going to go get checked up? Residents have said, you're closing at 5 o'clock. That's not accessible to me. So we still have to work under the iceberg to do our job well. So all this to say, we're not just stopping at what you see and what you know, but going under the iceberg. I'm going to take a quick pause and invite Taronda up to go into education.
Okay.
And I'll come click.
Thank you. So I want to be respectful of your time, but I just want to remind you that children live in Dunley homes. And so while we're talking about families and relocation, redevelopment, we got to remember that children are in the next room ear hustling. And that they're being impacted by this redevelopment as well. And so HUD calls for us to have a focus on children. And what I'd like to quickly do is help you to understand what we'll be doing to support children. Basically, what you see here is the first result is that we want to make sure that children in Dunley who are between the ages of 0 and 5, which are about 26% of your population, enter kindergarten ready to learn. And they have access to resources to help them to do that. What we'll be tracking on a regular basis is how many of them are actually participating in center-based or home-based early learning programs and or two-generation programs, or intergenerational programs, that is. Some of the data that you see here we'll be able to collect based on our family support, i.e. case management model, and other data we'll be able to get directly from the school district. So we'll have a data sharing agreement with Trenton Public Schools that will tell us, of your Dunley home school population, how are they doing annually? We'll be able to see how many of them are actually ready for kindergarten when they go to school based on the standardized tests that are being taken. We've heard from the residents that some of the things that keep them from enrolling their children in early learning programs are, and I know you can't see it on the screen, that's all right, cost, right? The cost is a concern, scheduling conflicts, openings. So after we leave you all today, for example, we're going to meet with partners who can help to address some of the concerns that you see here on the screen, so that we'll be able to ask them, what are some potential strategies we can implement together to address some of the barriers that you see here. On the next slide, you're going to see school-age children. The majority of your students are between the ages of 6 and 14. And they're going to some of the schools in the community, Martin Luther King and Riviera and some of the other schools, right? And so what we want to do is have relationships with those schools. And if we know by proxy that our students are zoned for those schools. That's not to say 100% of them go there, but if we can use those by proxy, we know that 50% of the students are chronically absent, right? So what can we do in partnership with the school district and other partners to reduce your chronic absenteeism number for your students at Donnelly? That's just an example of some of the things that we'll be working on, including identifying partners who can help with summer programs where we can track that, like the city of Trenton, right? Went on a tour today, saw some great opportunities in the community where we may be able to provide additional support in this area. And what are we doing to make sure that students are graduating from high school, right? Actually graduating on time and enter into a college and or career of their choice. We know not everybody want to go to college, but do you have a plan post-graduation? And that's what we'll be working with our families on and working with students on at the same time. And what you see here is the number of students who are between that age group that are in high school, as well as some of the different issues that families have told us they face and that we need to address when making sure that students graduate from high school. All right, Demetria? Well, actually, comments and concerns. So that completes the presentation. But any comments, reactions, concerns, or questions you have for us? Yes.
I have a comment. First of all, I want to thank you for addressing the issues with the seniors and them going for health care, because a lot of companies now and a lot of insurance companies are taken away if you have a chronic condition, that they're not going to see you anymore. So that's key for me. Two, thank you for addressing the children who are in high school, who are not graduating, who do not have a plan. And granted, college is not for everyone, but you still have to have a plan to do something.
Yeah. Yes.
To be a part of society and to do good, to move forward.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question after whatever commissioner goes, is Commissioner Green. So if that was Sherry, you can go first.
Thank you, Commissioner Green.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for the relocation plan, but what does a relocation plan look for you? Have the administration given you the draft relocation plan for the residents here in Donnelly, or that's in the works?
There will be,
Yeah.
you want to respond? We will be working with PRC to do a relocation plan also. That's the housing partner we have. And then we'll tie in USI to help with the residents.
Yeah, our responsibility related to relocation is to support them related to mobility counseling and helping our residents understand what it takes to relocate and how to live successfully in different neighborhoods rather than where you currently live. But that as a part of the housing strategy, that's a different partner who will handle the relocation.
Okay, I know that from tenants, if you can incorporate this, I don't know if you, Christie or Director Garrett, that some of the residents have issues with assistance with moving their belongings and being able to have that stuff packed up and transported to wherever they're going to be relocating. That has to be taken in consideration because some of the seniors have stated that they don't have that type of assistance and, you know, they're left in limbo. Strategies to choice neighborhood implementation. So, you say that you're gonna have, I do recall skimming through that because it was a lot of things that you were offering. I'm just gonna just ask just a couple of questions based on what you were sharing. So, okay, so, yeah, I'm glad that you have a target population, which is most everybody here. I'm assuming 602 overall that lives here in Donnelly Homes, or that's just who you're targeting for these services?
That's everyone for Donnelly Homes.
Residents that live at Donnelly Homes.
That's
Okay.
current occupancy.
Okay, how are you going to get them interested? Like, what is your, out of the 602 population, because some of the services that I've read in the resolution was, so when you say partners, you're gonna partner with these agencies to help them direct that's already in existence. Is that what you're saying?
We're leveraging resources
Yes.
that are already available in community to do service linkages for families.
Yeah.
So we want to capitalize on existing opportunities where you have plentiful partners here who you're already working with, thanks to the wonderful work of
Christy and Kaya.
Yeah, Christy and Kaya, who will be connecting and doing direct service linkages for and tracking that. So we don't just make a referral.
But I also want to add, it's a both and, because while a resident may be ready to work with the external partner, some residents are not.
That's correct.
And so we have family support services that will be on site, and we say family support other than case management because we don't believe that our families are cases that need to be managed. So if you're not ready, maybe it's a welcome or a wake up phone call every day. It may not be you're going on a job hunt. So if there's both and strategies. However, HUD is measuring and monitoring it on the outcomes.
Correct.
But we may not be ready for said outcome for every individual just by circumstance. So our team is well prepared and positioned to work with that as well.
So every family will have an individual family support
Yes.
specialist
Yes.
assigned to that family to create family goals and individual goals, where we sit down and work with them on a regular basis and actually track the outcomes that they want to achieve in their lives in all those areas that you heard us mention earlier.
And if they don't wanna participate, how are you gonna address that? Or that you just don't participate, that's a choice of theirs, is that correct?
That's a choice, but we'll also work under the iceberg to figure out why. It may be for some kids using early learning. I don't want to send my
Kids
my
or
kid for kids. I don't want to send my kid to a quality child care center. Maybe because I have my own traumas. I'm not ready for them to watch my kid. Understanding why, can we then offer in-home services for services to come to you? So it's a both and it's individualized based on what that family or individual needs.
So you're gonna have like behavioralists on staff,
Yes.
psychiatrists?
And or partnering with the local hospital to target Dunley.
Okay. So I thought it was interesting that you were saying residents have a place to go or need or have help needs, a place to go or needs. So when you say that, you're just going to, based on the families that you're working with, you're just trying to find out what their daily activities are and just try to, if it's not constructive, that you're going to give them ideas with the various partners, or like how are we going to, if someone, I mean, not so much in great depth, but have you had resistance? I guess that's my concern. What are the things, because it sounds great, but I just find that we have so many issues here, and, you know.
Yes, we do have resistance, but the key to urban is understanding that we are committed. We are committed to be in community with community. It may not be tomorrow, it may be the next day. Most of our services, most people opt into services based on their neighbor saying, go check them out, they really work. I see Miss So-and-so knocking on my door. I know her car. Our team is very committed to the communities in which we work.
How many people are going to be, you're going to hire to come in for this
Family support.
family support? Yeah. What's that, a team of how many?
Our ratio, that's the requirement, we don't have a specific number, but our ratio will be 50-1 or less for family support services. We'll have project managers, health specialists, education specialists, workforce specialists, depending on what this site needs. So we're first working to figure out what can we leverage of what already exists, and then we'll do a gap analysis and bring what is missing.
So
Okay, so
typically 1 to 50 or less is the ratio.
Okay, that sounds good. Just a heads up, the early childhood intervention is from 3 to 0, and they go by, there's a program already by the state, and it goes by the income.
So 0 to 5 is the age range of the early learning population that we track here. And we'll be looking at a host of partners here who are already providing those resources and leveraging and tapping into those. There may be also some exciting opportunities on the housing front to build capacity to expand the number of slots that are available for residents.
And it sounds like you're saying there is a 0 to 3 partner?
Yeah, from my understanding,
Oh.
it's for early intervention, childhood intervention, like if they're having some type of
Oh, yes.
development,
Yes.
it's from 0 to 3, from my
That's right,
understanding.
that is correct. And
If
every
we're
child that
not-
enters our program will be screened for developmental delays, right? And then we'll make sure that interventions are connected to those appropriate partners. So if you have the name of that organization, please share it with us.
If you give me a card, I can send it to you.
Thank
If
you.
we can get it, yeah.
One more thing, one more last question. So you were saying about the, going to the school district to find out
Yes.
about the, I don't know if the school district can give you information unless you have authority
We-
or approval from the parents.
Yes, in well, two things. Number one is we work with over now 20 school districts across the country, and we do data sharing agreements at a cohort level. So the school district is able to provide cohort level, and that is, as a group, we can tell you what the data look like for your population.
Oh, not for
That-
individuals.
Stop, right there. They can give us data at an individual level to tie into our case management program, i.e., if the family signs a FERPA.
Yes,
So they have to sign a FERPA, and that is a part of our intake.
yes.
Okay, all right.
We
Thank
got
you,
you
ladies.
covered. You're welcome.
Thank you
There
so
was
much.
a question online.
I think there was one question
A
online.
question online.
Commissioner Green, Commissioner Green, are you there?
We hear you.
You're on mute.
Just stop sharing too, Cliff, so we can see her too.
Excuse me?
If you stop sharing, we can see her, I think, because it still says.
If you stop,
You
still sharing the presentation.
We can send a copy of our
She
presentation.
was on mute.
We can hear you now.
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize for
You
not.
can see her now?
No, we can't.
No, but we can hear her.
You can hear me? Okay, great. It may be my service in my building. I just had a question. So you said that you have a sharing agreement for education and you're going to partner with, I guess, surrounding schools and organizations. I just wanted to point out, so I'm a teacher, and we have a lot of kids from housing authority that attend private schools. So I just wanted to keep in mind that you reach out to, because I heard you say Rivera and MLK.
Right.
I do work at an academy called CSA, Christina Sykes Academy, and it's for children with difficult backgrounds. So we have a lot of housing authority kids that live here. We accept students from pre-K 3 to the 8th grade, but they move on campus in the 4th grade. So a lot of our kids that live on campus are tenants of housing authority. So that's just something to keep into mind when you're, I guess, assessing the residents to see, you know, why are they living on campus, or what needs could we help them so they don't have to send their kids away? Because some parents, they're living here because of safety issues. So just to let you know that there are kids in housing authority that may go or may have a scholarship and they go to private schools, even in high school level. We have a lot of kids in Trenton housing authorities that are in private high schools where they're living on campus. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that some students don't actually, they live there, but they're not staying there Monday through Sunday. Monday through Friday, they live with their schools.
Right, no, that's very, very good information. Commissioner Green, thank you for sharing that. And if it's okay with you, we'd like to circle back and pick your brain even more.
Yes, because we have quite a few kids that I didn't even know, but some residents did reach out to me because they see that I'm on both. And I've been curious to know why is it that, again, they move in here at the 4th grade and they stay here from 4th to 8th. And then all of our kids only go to top prep schools. And then they transition to like the George School or the Petty School or Soulberry, and they live on campus. These kids are not living at home anymore. They're literally living on school campus from the 4th till they graduate out of high school.
Well, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
We'll follow up for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Very much.
The record to reflect that Commissioner Range joined us live at 12:27.
We have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting for October 18th.
So moved.
Second.
Any question on the minutes?
Yeah, not a question, but correction. It state that I left at, let me make sure, wrong state. It says 146.
146 p.m.
Oh, okay, okay, that's correct, all right, I just wanted to make sure, I thought it was something else, but thank you for that, that's fine.
Commissioner Correa.
I'm gonna abstain.
Commissioner Green. You're on
He's
mute.
muted.
You're muted again. Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Weldon.
Yes.
Commissioner Green.
Still muted.
Chairman Jenkins.
Yes.
So yeah, we're gonna move right to the presentation from the auditor. Tom, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you guys. I can't see you guys no more.
Okay. Did you want to register a vote on approval of the minutes, Commissioner Green?
Yes, my vote was a yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Tom.
Okay, so do you want to introduce Tom, or?
Sure.
Yeah, why don't you introduce him?
Sure. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
So who we have on the line here is Tom, who is representing Aprio, our independent auditors. He's going to walk us through the audit report for 2022.
Okay.
Tom, it's all yours, Tom.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me today. Would you like me to go ahead and share my screen? I think there probably are some hard copies floating around, but I can go ahead and share my screen as well. Put the copy of the report. Oops, not that one. There you go. Okay,
Divine?
can you see the cover page of the audit report on the screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, super. All right, so before we take a look at the report itself, I just wanted to start by telling you a little bit about the compliance audit that we performed in addition to the financial audit. And then we'll take a look at the financial statements and go from there. So I wanted to explain the compliance audit a little bit. The federal program that was audited for compliance for 2022 was the public housing program. Your public housing grant program was also audited for compliance with the 2021 audit. And both your public housing and capital fund programs were audited for compliance with your 2020 audit. So for the 2022 compliance audit of the public housing program, we sampled outgoing payments for operating expenses against program allowability requirements. We reviewed samples of family eligibility determinations, including annual reexaminations, and we reviewed tenant files for required documents and third-party verifications. We tested internal management fees charged to the program against federally established limits. We tested move-ins from the wait list for compliance with move-in criteria such as preferences and application dates. And we tested compliance with various other federal requirements of that program. Okay, there was one compliance finding, so let's talk about that. So if you have a hard copy and you're following along, let's flip down to page 57. Okay. All right, finding 2022-001.
So to provide you with a little background on this, before awarding a contract to a bidding contractor, housing authorities are required to either conduct an internet search to make sure the contractor isn't suspended or debarred from performing under federally funded contracts, or they can attain a written certification from the contractor that they're not suspended or debarred from federal contracts. So towards the middle of the page, under condition, cause, and perspective, is a description of the compliance finding. The finding is for not maintaining documentation that an internet search was conducted prior to awarding the contracts, which we sampled. So it's just a matter of maintaining documentation, keeping the documentation. So this could also be resolved by either adding a certification clause in your contracts with contractors, where they're certifying that they're not debarred. That's a pretty easy fix, or just maintaining the search results. So it looked like you were likely performing the search results. You had reperformed them while we were on site. None of the contractors were found to be on the debarred list. So it's a matter of maintaining the documentation.
Excuse me, if this happens, could you please, list the sample, contracts, that you were referring to, even though there was no findings?
Sure.
Next time, please, more detail, thank you.
Yeah, would you like me to email those?
I would.
One of your, okay.
Yeah.
I can email those in. I would look them up now, but it would probably take me a few minutes. But I can get those emailed.
And one more thing, so it's called SAMS that you look on the federal website. Isn't that, I forgot what that's the acronym, but is that what the housing authority is using to check for suspension or disbarment? Or did they say what federal system they're using?
Yeah, I think they're using the EPLS system, which stands for
okay.
Right. Okay. So, are there any other findings? Any other questions related to this finding? I will go ahead and send in the contracts that we sent.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Okay. All right, so if we just flip back to the previous page, page 56, right above it, it's just a real brief summary of the 2021 audit finding. All right, and under the current year status section, we can see that these issues have all been resolved and this finding has been cleared and not restated for 2022. All right, so.
I'm sorry, so you're saying that when you came back for this audit, you checked those same sample files and the missing information was either updated or placed in the file, is that what you're saying?
No, we checked a comparable sample size that we did last year, same sample size, and did not find comparable deficiencies in those files.
Oh, okay, so you didn't go back to check to see if the files, the sample for 2021 was rectified or the necessary missing documentation was put in those files?
No, we didn't. We just checked the new sample.
All right, thank you.
All right, so I want to briefly talk about the management's discussion and analysis a little bit before we take a look at the financial statements.
What page is that?
So that's going to be on pages 9 through 16. So let's flip back up to page 9. Okay, so I don't plan on going through this MD&A in detail, but I just wanted to point out that if anyone's looking for a quick 5 to 10 minute read that will provide an executive level summary of the financial statements and analyze some of the more significant variances from the previous year's financial statements, I would highly recommend this MD&A portion of the report. Okay, but let's flip down, if you're following along with the hard copy, let's flip down to page 14. Okay. And right up here, or sort of towards the top of this table, looks like revenues increased quite a bit from 2021, right? And it looks like a lot of that increase was a result of capital grant revenues recognized through the capital fund program to fund renovations and modernizations to the public housing dwelling sites. So a lot of that increase in revenue was more capital grants. Directly.
So are you saying because the North Trenton Neighborhood Choice Grant, it increased our funding, our revenue? Is that what you're saying, or is there specific grants that was incoming that we're not aware of? Is that listed? Those grants that increase the revenue?
It would be your annual capital fund grants.
Oh, it's just. Go ahead.
Right, and the reason those increased, because it looks like during 2022, you performed a lot more modernization and renovation activity than in the previous year. So that was a primary driver of the large change in revenues. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the financial statements. And let's take a look at page 19. Page 19 is the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in that position, or the income statement. In the middle of the page, we see operating income of $1.5 million, which when adding back in the depreciation expense reported directly above it of $3.2 million, which is a non-cash expense, we have an adjusted gain of just under $4.7 million. Okay, so our operating gain right there, we add back in depreciation expense here. Which is a non-cash expense. We have a pretty significant gain this year. So let's scroll down and let's look at briefly the statement of cash flows on page 20.
On page 20?
Yes, ma'am, page 20. So at the bottom of the first group of numbers, we can see that cash provided from operating activities was $2.9 million. In the next group of numbers, we can also see that a lot of that $2.9 million of operating cash was used to pay down principal and interest payments on the energy performance contracts. So your overall increase of cash was $300,000. After a lot of that operating cash got used to pay down on the energy performance contract.
the energy performance contracts is the capital outlay, is that what you're referring to?
So the energy performance contract, what was at one point a capital outlay, I'm not sure if there were any capital outlays in 2022 associated with that. I think it might have finished before that.
Yeah, no.
So I guess what I'm saying here is, but you're still paying the loans under the energy performance contract, right? You'd be paying on those a while. So even though the capital outlays are, I think were finished prior to 2022. All right, so let's take a real brief look at one of the notes to the financial statements. Let's take a quick look at page 36. Okay, so at the top of this page, we can see a summary of the Housing Authority's long-term liabilities, including its loans payable under the Capital Fund Financing Program, which is the liability at the very top labeled bonds payable.
Are you saying bonds payable, or are you saying loans payable? You're saying
It's
bonds
a,
payable?
loan payable.
I'm sorry, hon, what are you saying?
It's a bond payable is what
Okay,
it is. I'm sorry.
okay.
Yeah. Technically,
Same
yes.
thing, actually.
And also we can see the pension and OPEB liabilities listed out here, right there, and your OPEB liability. And your OPEB liability, OPEB stands for Other Post-Employment Benefits, and it means other benefits outside of pension. So your OPEB liability is the liability representing the health benefit plan for retirees. But anyway, I just wanted to point this table out to you so you can sort of see your liabilities, your long-term liabilities anyway, itemized.
Yes, can I have a question? So, it increased to $1 million, our pension, I'm addressing the line approved pension liability. So, the overall amount that we're supposed to pay, have paid, or the balance paid is that for everyone in the pension? Is that what the overall, what we should be paying annually for should have paid in 2022? Or this is as December 22 balance?
So
okay, so the
this
$6 million is what we're supposed to be paying overall for everybody who's in the pension plan or retiree? Or is this just a amount that we pay for retirees? So this is what we're paying out, or we're paying, I'm sorry, is this what is this what we're paying into the pension plan? I'm sorry, because the pension pays out the premiums. So is this what we're paying into the pension, $6 million overall for everyone who's enrolled in the pension?
No, this isn't what you're paying annually for your pension. What this is an estimate made by an actuary of what they think you're going to owe in the future for employees and retirees that are currently in the plan. So it's not what you're paying into the plan every month, it's an estimate of what they think you're gonna owe at some point in the future.
Okay. So everything in here on this sheet on page 36 is estimations?
No,
Oh,
just the
just
pension.
the pension, okay, all right.
Just the pension and the OPEB. Just the pension
Oh,
and the
just those
OPEB
two.
are estimates. Everything else is a true measured liability.
Right, because it's accrued.
Right.
Just a point of reference for the board too, the bond, just to let you know, like the capital fund bond will be retired at the end of next year. So that'll be done, retired at the end of next year. And then the EPC actually runs through 2029. So you got about 5 more years on the EPC loan.
Thank you.
Right, and speaking of. On page 35, you can sort of see projections of getting the EPC paid off. Right there. All right, so let's take a quick look at page 42.
I'm sorry, page what, 42?
Yes, page 42, please. Okay, so pages 42 through 48 contain the financial data schedule, or FDS for short. So this is a copy of the FDS, which has been uploaded to the REACT website. And just scrolling through it, this schedule provides more detailed information broken down by federal program. So it's basically a balance sheet and income statement with a little more detail and also broken out by federal program. So, and it'll pull the COCC out of there too. And REAC has approved this FDS and the audit submission about 2 weeks ago. So that's been submitted and approved. So it looks like they're getting to these a little quicker than they have been. All right, so at this time, I'll take any questions about maybe anything I talked about or something that maybe I didn't talk about that you would like me to elaborate a little bit more on.
I only have to say that I hope for next year that you speak with the board to see what their concerns is prior to you, to help with the sampling. Because I've been on here, this is going on my 3rd year, and I haven't, I think you presented, at least this is your 3rd time presenting to the board, but you have yet to come to the board and speak to all of us to see what our concerns are, because, we're looking at these financial records monthly, and, you're coming in, was it twice a year, or is it once a year? Once? Yeah, you're coming in once, and you're not getting any feedback. I know I've not been able to give any feedback. I view these things and these reports, and I would like to had input on some of the sampling. I would prefer that you do to give us some more insight of the financial stability of the authority. So that's really about it. Not that you go to one person and they tell you there's no concerns. Not to say there are, but it would have been nice that we actually was able to sit with you prior to you doing your audit, and then you presenting your findings based on either our conversation or your normal course of assessment. That's about it.
Yes, absolutely. I think we should do that prior to commencement of next year's audit and prior to the conclusion of next year's audit. We can do that.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? No? Okay. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We appreciate the opportunity to work with you and the staff this year. Mr. Terry, thank you.
Have a great afternoon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, Tom.
So this time,
We'll move into secretary's report.
well, let's for the sake of time, if you have questions on the report, the secretary can take any questions at this time. We can take questions.
No, I emailed them the one question I had, so.
Moving on.
Let's move on to the resolutions.
So resolution,
Because we're going to review, we're going to review the financial report next meeting because the, which is fine, but we're not really gonna discuss it until next meeting, because we don't have
Yeah, correct. As we mentioned, due to the software conversion project that we're still working on, in order to protect the accuracy and completeness of the financials, we chose to, postpone providing that data to you guys so that you will have that next board meeting, so you'll be reviewing the financials for September as well as October.
we
At our next
appreciate
board
that. So we're gonna table 2335, resolution 2335, until,
But approving the disbursements.
That is approved, that doesn't, I mean, that doesn't.
Now, 25,
That-
yeah, 25 is disbursements, that is actually, we were able to produce that.
right, I know, but, okay,
That,
combination, alright, go ahead.
yeah, just the overall performance of the financials, the high level accounts, so we're still hold off on that.
Yeah.
So Mr.
I like
Tibbs
to
is
look at
gonna,
those both.
Mr. Tibbs is gonna, actually present resolutions 2333 through
37.
2337.
All right, so we'll start here with resolution 2333. This resolution authorizes the introduction to the 2022 annual audit prepared by Aprio. It is the recommendation of the Board of Commissioners to adopt this resolution approving the 2022 audit.
We have a motion on resolution 2333.
So moved. Second.
Any questions on this resolution? No questions being heard. Let's go to roll call.
Commissioner Garrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
She's on mute.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Raines,
Aye.
Commissioner Weldon,
Yes.
Chairman Gentry.
Yes.
All right, our next resolution is 2334. The resolution authorizes the approval of the corrective action plan as part of the authority's annual audit process. It is the recommendation that the Board of Commissioners approve the resolution of the corrective action plan, as the authority will search the EPLS and for prospective contractors prior to awarding contracts and retain documentation of the searches and obtain certifications that of suspension and or disbarment from the contractors prior to awarding contracts. That has been implemented as of this audit, so that is in effect today.
We have a motion on 2334.
So moved.
All right, any other questions on it?
So, all right, I see the recommendation, but what exactly are you going to do to correct this? I apologize, it's in the authority to search EPLS for prospective contractors, is that the only federal system?
Just so we know, to rehash this finding, it was more of an administration, more of an administrative function. The search is actually performed. Our procurement qualified officer performs a review of all of the contractors. You go into this website, you check,
I know how it's done, sir.
so when that happens, we can either print that out
And
and
you're supposed
put that
to.
in the file
Exactly.
and keep that as with the evidence of the awarded contract.
Right.
That portion of it was not saved down for us, so it's just a matter of us continuing the process in which we were doing, and just saving that support.
So this is the first time this auditor found this compliance issue he's been auditing us for how long now?
I believe they're 3 years here, so I'm not
It's
sure.
only
that-
3 years he's been auditing us?
He's been auditing us for longer than that. April's been here for some time.
Okay.
It has been in place, and we will reinstate it. We have reinstated it to the process.
Oh, it was in place before? Okay, you just stopped. Okay, all right.
Any other questions on this resolution? No further questions? Roll call.
Commissioner Garrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Raines,
Yes.
Commissioner Weldon,
Yes.
Chairman Gentry.
Yes.
All right. Our next resolution, 2335. This resolution authorizes the approval of disbursements for October 2023 in the amount of $1,265,844.88. That is captured between the general fund as well as the capital fund. The general fund was $830,791.76, and the capital fund was $435,053.12 for the month of October. It is my recommendation to the Board of Commissioners to adopt this resolution approving the disbursements for October 2023.
Any questions on resolution 2335?
No, we have to approve the.
Need a motion first.
So moved.
I second.
Now, question.
Okay, yes, I have a question. Thank you. So just give us a overview of what the capital fund, what projects was performed for the $435,000, what happened, what was going on?
Sure, so the three major projects that were underway are the boiler contract that which we have in place for Josephson.
The elevator?
Well, the elevator is another one, but the boilers are,
the
boilers is another project.
Okay.
That's, redoing the boilers there
Right,
in Josephson.
right,
There is the elevator project as well,
uh-huh,
is the other major project there that's in the loop. And then also we have the HIP project, which is the facade and the replacement of the MLK and addressing the outside of.
the siding or facade, what is that?
It's a facade program for,
Okay.
Choice Neighborhood as part of the action activities.
What does that consist of, I'm sorry?
So, it's the 700 block of MLK Boulevard.
Oh,
and
that
600
project,
block.
okay,
Mhm.
so, with aisles, you speak.
With and Trenton Health Team also is part of that, and City of Trenton, yes.
Okay. All right, that's.
Those are the
that's a
three
big-
major projects that encompass that 435,000.
And then for the general fund, normally when it's up like this, it's usually like 500,000 or something, 100,000, so what increased the general fund?
That we see the
200,000.
catch up. If you noticed last month in our board meeting, the expenses were a little lower. As we continue to the data conversion over to the new system, we had to hold off on payments for a number of vendors for a time, so this is us catching back up and, I guess, paying the vendors that were in the pipeline
Okay.
as we convert over to Yard.
All right,
So
wonderful.
getting up to speed on that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No questions heard, roll call.
Commissioner Correct,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
yes. Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Weldon,
Yes.
Chairman Gentry.
Yes.
Mr. Raines, just the record reflect, Mr. Raines stepped out briefly, we assume he's coming back, but that's why there was a 5-0, so close.
When he comes back, do we want him to?
You can ask him if he will approve this.
Because he did motion it.
Right.
He did motion it, so, okay.
All right, the next two resolutions kind of go hand in hand. I'll introduce them separately, though this is some housekeeping items that we identified. Resolution 2336. This resolution authorizes the late introduction of the Trenton Housing Authority state budget for the financials of 2022. Again, the recommendation is the board to accept the introduction of the resolution for the DCA budget for this portion here.
Okay, do we have a motion for resolution?
What do you want to ask him to?
No, the 2335, you want to cast your vote on that?
Oh, yeah, yes.
That'll be 6-0, I'm sorry.
Okay. Do we have a motion on resolution 2338?
36.
36, right?
36.
So moved.
2336.
And I
I
second.
mean, you could do them together, because it's essentially,
It's
it's
the
the same.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So 20,
Yes.
We'll put them
I'll ask
together,
for a
36 and 37?
yeah.
All right, resolution for 2336/37.
So moved on both.
Be approved, I second.
Any question on the two?
Yeah, tell us, you're trying to put a budget to submit it to DCA. The budget we just approved, was it a couple of months ago? Was that?
We approved the budget in, I believe, January or February. Our 2023 operating budget we included.
That was January 2023?
Yeah, January or
Okay.
February.
I apologize. Okay, so, we're talking about, you're saying that for total revenues is going to be $17.7 million. And, it says included accumulated deficit of the same amount.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, I don't mean to interrupt. That's 2022, so if you're looking at 2022, again, this is
Oh, it says
part
up
of a,
here.
this is part of a perfunctory process and that's in place that, you know, we must submit, even though we approved it, it's been approved by the board, we have to also apply and submit it to the state,
So,
for DCA.
just to be
But
clear,
after the fact
but
though?
just to be clear, we approved our operating budget, which is the driving force behind our subsidy submission with HUD. Also, because we are a entity of the municipality, we have to submit a state budget, but the word Rich uses perfunctory. The state doesn't give us any funds. This is basically an administrative process. So in the transition of staff between Ms. Leggett and Mr. Tibbs, we dropped the ball on submitting the budgets for 22 and 23. So this is just catching us up with the state administratively. Again, we don't raise taxes. We don't get any funds from the state. This is just totally really just submission of a form that's required because we are an authority of the city. So this doesn't have any effect on our funding. It doesn't have any effect on what HUD gives us for subsidy. It really doesn't have any effect at all on us.
It goes in a file.
Yeah.
It's administrative.
So did DCA find, the housing authority for the late, this, of the 2022 and 23,
No.
reports?
No, I think if you
Report?
were a city, if we were the city of Trenton and we were late submitting our budget, then any type of state aid, any type of things like that, raising or being able to collect taxes would be in jeopardy. But like I said, we are, even though we are an authority of the municipality, we don't receive money from the state, we don't raise taxes, so this is really just an administrative process for us.
Okay, so we're saying it was late because you had to find a financial director, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, and, Mr.
Tibbs
Tibbs
cleaning up.
Was cleaning up, okay, so he's doing his due diligence to keep, to catch up. Okay. But was that the budget that was that the amount that, for the 2022 budget, 17.7 million?
Yes, everything tied.
Okay, and for the 2023 was 20.4 million?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions on these resolutions? No questions being heard, roll call.
Commissioner Garrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Raines,
Yes.
Commissioner Weldon.
Yes.
Chairman Gentry.
Yes.
So I think you're done, sir. At 2338, and 2339.
Good job.
Martin, you wanna do that?
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Resolution,
How are you?
how's everyone?
Good, how are you?
Resolution 2338. The THA has contracted with leasing companies for coin-operated washers and dryers at 6 sites for quite a long time. Prospect Village, Lincoln Homes, French Towers, Jefferson Apartments, Apted Apartments, and Fraser Courts. We now wish to purchase card-operated washers and dryers for all 6 sites. The THA, we will own all the equipment and we will own the the equipment and will be able to contact the manufacturer should any service needs required, because it's gonna be brand new equipment. All equipment we purchased, all equipment purchased will be commercial grade, designed for high volume laundry facilities. We issued an IFB for delivery, installation, and installation for the payment operating systems as well as card readers and kiosks. Advertised on September 3rd, bids were due September 28th. 3 bid packages were requested, 1 was received by the due date. You have a listing here of each facility and the requirements of each, and the number of appliances going into each facility. If you look at the first page of the background, the total cost to the THA for installation would be $242,649. Would be purchased from the main supplier of washers and dryers. They supply the industry, so I went right to them. It's Metropolitan Laundry Machinery Sales, and they will supply us all with the required appliances, and we thus own it and collect everything. So I ask that you approve the resolution for card-operated washers and dryers.
I want to help Mr.
Yes.
Warren a little with the story, because the reason why we did this is because in terms of the service that we receiving from our current vendors through our concessions, so they provide the equipment, they're supposed to keep the equipment up to date, and we take a percentage of the revenue. We don't feel that the service that we're getting, a lot of times the machines are down, it takes a long time to come and get them back up and running. We feel like we can do a much better job by taking capital and purchasing our own machines, and then also reaping the benefit of the revenue from those machines. We feel that this route gives us a ability to provide a much better service to our residents, as well as provide additional income above and beyond what we're receiving right now under our current process.
Plus, we are also getting what we consider to be top quality equipment as well, and geared to shelf life is geared for like 15 years.
Any questions on this?
No.
Motion first.
So moved.
A second.
Okay, now, the question.
Yes, just a question, do we already have, okay, you did, you just explained that. So, these are gonna go in place of the machines that we are leasing, is that what you're saying?
We are leasing, we've been leasing for years.
No, that's fine,
Well, correction, we have not been leasing, we've been providing a concession. So that means that a person comes and puts their machines in, we're really reverse leasing to them, we're allowing them to use the space, and then they give a percentage of the revenue on the machine.
how much are they
It was,
getting?
I think we was getting, it was 68%?
This last one was 68%.
Yeah, but the management of that, and
It just wasn't following where it was.
First couple of years were good, after that, it just went down.
Okay, so my concern, I thought about this, I think I brought it to the board. My concern is, this is like tenants just go down into a laundry room and wash their clothes, and if they have something in there, it possibly would jam the machines or put stuff in the machines that will cause a problem for somebody who follows up behind them. So my concern is, are we gonna have someone monitoring what is going into these machines? Because we may just wind up having the same problem that the other company was having, as you know, with the installation of their machines. So I'm just trying to think ahead here. I mean, I think it's a good idea, the concept, but how are we going to put precautions in place? Because, right now, even in a laundromat, we're having problems with people with putting oil in the sinks, backing up the plumbing system, putting stuff into the toilet. So how are we going to kind of get ahead of that and put something in place where somebody else's clothes is not being damaged, or they putting something in the machine that's going to shut the machine down, that is going to cost us money to replace a part so soon, you know, people just don't care because it doesn't belong to them. So have we thought about that, thought through that, brainstormed through that, so we don't have, even the brand new machines, I'm sure, some people just don't have consideration, for other people. This is what I'm doing right now, so what do we got in place?
Well, regular maintenance, these are brand new machines.
Right.
They will supply maintenance at our request for them as well. As far as can we control tenants and what they do, that's a little difficult to do.
I was just thinking that maybe we could have within proximity of each other, like a laundromat, but only the tenants could use it, and that would be something we can create employment for a tenant to be in there managing the laundry room, just to keep up, to make sure that, oversee what's going on in there. They're not putting too much soap where the laundry, the washing machine spills over a whole bunch of suds, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think we factored into this project also, it's not just a replacement of the equipment, it is a refresh, a rebranding of the centers where the equipment's gonna be stored. So refreshing that facility, possibly, again, adding the card sensors and things along those lines. Perhaps we can look at adding an attendant of some sort to kind of oversee that process in the facility. So that's something we can factor in as we look to revamp the entire structures for where these machines will be.
And it's
coins only for tenants anyway?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, tenants. Tenants. But the other concern is if you're going to use those cards, that it be able to let you know what tenant, we have an idea if the machine is damaged, who was the last tenant that used it. There's got to be some accountability.
The cards are purchased through a kiosk, and the cards are then used in the machine. So
Right, but can we code those cards so
the cards are charged so that they can use them within each machine.
I understand
There's not I don't know if there's an individual coding per tenant.
But you can do that now.
I would have to ask.
Yeah, you can do that. So we can have an idea of who's damaging the daggone machines.
I will ask the question.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
technically, you can probably code it, but then you can't blame the next person who used it because it could have been damaged by the person who just got finished, and then maybe 2 days later, now somebody comes to use the machine and something happened. So now you're blaming someone.
You're right. And maybe we should put it in where the machine will automatically shut down if there's something happening where you cannot reuse it, meaning it won't operate until the machine is corrected. There's got to be some precautions put in place, because I think it's a great idea. I think it's a revenue maker, but just based on some of other aspects of what, issues, maintenance issues, based on tenant issues, not dealing with the management. I use the laundromat, so I'm just saying from viewers, people just don't care. They don't care what the heck they put in the machine. And in the dryer, you can put in wet clothes, the soap. They don't realize you put something is wet, so damp that it can damage the dryer. So these are some of the things I'm thinking about. You're putting animal, something, your cat or dog is laying on outside, and you decide to come into the laundry room and throw it in the washer. Like, come on now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's a great idea. I just think we just gotta put some things in place so people will be accountable. You're just not gonna walk in there and tear up these machines. That's just my point. Not saying that people will do it on purpose. People they only think about themselves and what their needs are at the moment.
Well, we'll revisit the tenant-to-tenant possibility, and also there's looking at installing cameras as well. So that could kind of see if we can do some of that. But it's a maintenance process.
Right.
Stay on top.
Right, but I just think that if we put something where the machine will just shut down, no one else can operate it if there's any type of something, this everything has a processor, it's a motherboard. So a computer does whatever you tell it to do, whatever you program it to do. That's all.
One question.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what the expected return, you know, like annually is on the machines? So you were getting 68% before. Do we know what it would look like if we're getting 100% revenue from that?
That's a great question. I don't know that we have that right now because we weren't, the previous company, we had security go around with them at times, but they weren't as on top of it as they should have been. So I can only make a real guesstimation on it. And I would say the first year, then we can report what the revenues are from it.
And I would also, just sorry, just to
Please go
cut in on that, I would echo and say that the 68% that we were itemized as receiving was not 68% at this point. So because of the downing of the machines, this machines being down and things along those lines, and just the upkeep and things along those lines. So this will be, you know, as Ken mentioned, once we go through year one, we'll have a better baseline to set how much that revenue will be on a annual basis for subtraction.
Also, one more other thing, I apologize. I also don't want us to be also cautious with the cameras that, you know, someone's doing their laundry and, you know, there's some security, no one get attacked down there doing their laundry. You know, I don't know if it's in the basement. That's another concern I'm having, I think coming to my mind. You know, making sure that someone is not attacked or.
Well-lit areas.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Any other concerns on this resolution?
And if you could report back to us, to the board of you know, some of our concerns that was put forth here, would be appreciated that they've been addressed. Thank you.
Any other questions? And before I call for the vote, I'd like to recognize the fact that Councilwoman Edwards is with us today. Thank you for coming. And with that, roll call.
Commissioner Garrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Raines,
Aye.
Commissioner Weldon,
Yes.
Chairman Gentry.
Yes.
Also, the machine that's going to, you put money in to get the card, we gotta make sure that people are not vandalizing it, trying to break into it to take the money out of the machine. So many things.
Resolution 2339. This is the replacement of ranges and refrigerators. We do this once a year.
Yes.
We purchase ranges and refrigerators. For the past many years, we do it for GE. We just need a new resolution now to continue. The invitation for bid was advertised September 17th. Four companies obtained bids, and we had one submitted by the closing date of October 3rd. You'll see a listing here of the expected number of appliances that need to be replaced throughout the year. We may hit this number, we may be lower than that, but I want to, it was for, I want us not to exceed the amounts of GE appliances, again, submitted their bid for replacement of appliances. This year, the total number is not to exceed $181,575. So I ask you to approve this resolution. Thank you.
575 or?
$181,575.
That's,
The numbers.
Corrected.
575 or 5 what?
it says 77 on here.
7.
Have a different number there?
Yes.
Yes. On here it says 757, it says 5.
It's 750. I got 575.
I have no idea how that happened.
Well, is it 575? So
Is it 575 or
correct the resolution.
557?
I'll correct the resolution. It's one of these numbers.
Okay, yeah,
It's
so-
an estimate anyway, so.
Yeah.
It's
You say, you want to say not to
It's
exceed,
200,
say not to
yeah.
exceed.
It's a not to exceed number,
Just
so
use
1
the,
second.
just use the resolution cover, it's 7, so the resolution is,
I have
We don't have to change it.
575 too.
I may have done
Not on the
it there. I'm
resolution.
looking at this one as
Your
well.
resolution says
the resolution says 7, just do the resolution, but that's fine, the
Okay.
resolution is 757, we do the resolution.
Okay.
757.
transpose.
Yeah. Could have been a typo, that's all.
Yes, I do.
We have a motion on it.
Actually, the total of the bid tab is 575, just so you know. That's-
575.
But that's all still an estimate.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I can say, not to exceed whatever.
Yeah.
With the resolution of coverage.
Yes, it will cover it.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And I second.
Any questions on the resolution?
Yeah, Mr. Godfrey, I think we had a conversation at one other time. You were supposed to be looking into, another company, other than GE. Were you successful, like, looking in pricing what a contract agreement with Whirlpool or, whatever, any of the other manufacturers? Were you successful or you just?
That would be through procurement.
Oh,
Mr.
well, the
Martin.
question was to you, so I apologize. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to, because the question, it was a conversation with you. You brought this,
That would be his function, yes.
so it's his function now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
It's
were
always
you
been his
able to
function.
look, excuse me, were you able to look into other,
Other
appliance,
appliances.
manufacturers to see what, because we had had complaints, in regards to the appliances, the ranges, I don't know exact, but they're saying that they're very, I guess, cheap, or what they say,
I had asked, had brought this up to GE sometime back about getting an upgrade, but during the whole pandemic, they said for the range that we are in, this is the best one we have. Unless we go to a raise, a whole nother model, this is the only one they have for this range that we're buying right now.
and this,
Because I wanted to, you have something, a step up for us, and I said, it's not even close to this range.
and, this is through the state though, isn't this through the state, cooperative?
This is, going out for bid.
Okay, could you, just, if, when you have a moment, there's nothing we can do because the resolution's here
Mhm.
and you already did the pricing. If you could see what other, options or within the range that GE is offering, but better quality. I forgot what they are, Whirlpool and whoever else is out there to see if
Well,
they,
4 firms did pick up, I just don't know who they are off the top of my head.
oh, their pricing was much higher
Well,
than
they,
GE.
no, they didn't submit, 4 firms picked
Picked
up
up
to
the
look at it,
package.
but they did not submit.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
Okay.
they looked at it, and they elected not to buy
Oh,
for
'cause
whatever reason, because I can't tell you why they did not submit.
So, one more question, so the package, the bid, did it state what it, the amount that you didn't want to exceed, or you
No,
just
no,
had
no,
to
no,
open
no,
it?
no dollar figure.
Open, oh, okay,
No dollar figure
okay,
at all stated in.
okay, what you said?
No, I was just, public contracting states that you don't put a price in it. If you want to respond to the bid, you do.
Yeah, there's no pricing in there whatsoever.
Exactly.
4 picked up and only this one responded.
Right.
Or this was doing okay.
It's been
That's
that way
been
for
consistent the last
some time
3 or
now.
4 times that we did it.
Yeah,
Been that way for a while.
yeah.
If you have a
But you
question-
haven't really reached out to them, you just put it out the bid, but you
I
didn't
put it
really
out the
reach
bid.
out to any, like.
Also, you have other places, the construction companies that also pick up and post it as well as us, as we're not so the construction journals and whatnot, they also post everything that, anyone who bids publicly, they grab them and they post them out as well. So, it's not just myself posting, to our local papers and our website. But as it first pick up, they just choose not to submit.
Okay.
Any other questions on this resolution?
I have one. So technically, when you put a bid out, you cannot reach out to anybody. They have to apply, correct?
They apply, I can let
Yes.
them know it's
Okay.
available.
No, I'm not talking about the bid, I'm sorry, Commissioner, Walden. I'm just asking for them to check with a manufacturer other than GE to see what the pricing, just to look at it on the wholesale, as far as wholesale, be able to see if it fits within the range and what we're asking as far as the, square footage or the sizes.
Right, no, I
Just make sure.
understood that,
Oh,
but
okay.
The specifications
do-
do not include GE though, is that correct?
No.
No,
No.
say, so any
It's
manufacturer.
Anybody can
generic,
pick up.
it's a generic
Right, I
specification.
agree, I do understand how that works, my question was for them to actually reach out, not to talk about a bid, but just find out, look at what their appliances, how the quality, how they're making them, are they competitive to what we already have a contract with regards to GE, that's all I'm saying.
no, I get that, but I think by law, they cannot do that because
No, that's not true.
you are, if you're reaching out to somebody and now,
You give them a preference.
right, You can't give them a preference when that.
I'm not, it has nothing to do with the bidding. All I'm saying is that, we have to go out and bid out for these?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
have
we
to.
do.
Yes, okay,
Yes, we
all right,
do.
if we have to go out and bid, okay, fine.
So whoever manufacturer responds, that's, and the Jeep was the only one that did.
All right, thank
Many
you.
years now.
For a minute, yeah. Okay, with that, is roll call?
Commissioner Garrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Raines,
Yes.
Commissioner Weldon,
Yes.
Chairman Gentry.
Yes.
And finally, last but not least, is
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
I'm presenting resolution number 2340, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Trenton to enter into an option agreement with the school district of the City of Trenton for Downey Homes and North Trenton Battle Monument Trace Neighborhood Project. So we are applying for a $50 million grant, as everyone knows. As part of the grant, you have to show site control, demonstrate site control. Junior 1 was one of the sites that we needed to demonstrate site control, as well as a battle monument property that's across from the battle monument, both owned by the school board. The school board and the housing authority has finalized the agreement, and the option agreement is now acceptable for both parties. We attended the board meetings, and thanks to the community to come out and support the project as well. The school board had a special meeting on November 1st and has entered into the option agreement with the housing authority, and now we are asking to approve this resolution so that we can enter into an option agreement with the school board.
Yes.
Congratulations.
There's a motion on resolution.
So moved.
Gladly second.
Any questions on it?
Yes, I have questions. Okay, so I clarify this, I was under the impression that, and I think I asked this last month, that if, the school board did not do the swap, the option was, the, Battle Monument or up on 5 Points, next to Henry Austin. Is that where
No, that's the
those are two properties that we're swapping.
Yeah, that's the property we received, next to Henry J. Austin and the Junior 1, are the two properties that we will get from the school board.
Oh, so the school board owns 5 Points as well?
The property cost, yes, right there. Right next to Junior 1. I mean, Henry J. Austin, I'm sorry.
Okay, I wasn't clear that they owned that property, so so that wasn't, the properties in 5 Points was not initially in the plan, is that correct?
In the initial plan, it wasn't in there.
And so what did we swap for that? So where is the middle school going to be? What did we swap for? What did they get in exchange is my question.
They got 2.9 acres on this site here, Downey Home site. So,
Oh, so the school's gonna be built on this site?
part of the site. Part of the site will be housing still, a mixed income building with commercial space, and then also a school. It's proposed here.
And it's gonna be the same size as the one across the street?
No, it's gonna be a brand new building, so.
That's not what I asked you.
I'm not sure, I mean, it's gonna be a
It's
brand new.
2.9 acres.
I can at least comment on that. The state is the one that decides the size of the building. It's actually outside of the school board purview, because the state is the one that's funding it. And so they always determine the size of the building based on the current population.
Oh, thank
So
you.
that's how they do it. So the size is to be determined based on when they build the building.
The land swap
But
is,
the
the
land-
land
yeah.
swap is 2 point, so the land swap is Junior 1 and the Battle Monument property, collectively is 3.8 acres. What we will swap here, we provide the school with 2.9 acres on the Downey Homes property. And in the actual agreement that we provided with the resolution, if you see in the exhibits in the back, it gives a visual of the property.
Right, because when we was at the initial board meeting, for the presentation, I thought it was gonna be an even swap. I thought that's what you promised, an even swap. So they are aware that they're only gonna get 2.9 acres.
They passed the resolution, yes, of course
Yes.
they're aware.
I wasn't there, because remember, the meeting was at 5:30, y'all told us it was 6:30, so I didn't hear anything.
Subsequent to the meetings, there was at least 2 weeks worth of negotiation, between housing authority staff and the school board superintendent and attorney. And yes, everybody's aware, and they have approved this agreement, and yes, everybody's aware.
So on this Dolly Homes, how many acres is Dolly Homes right here, at minus junior 5?
Downey Home, mine is junior 5.
I mean junior 1, not dealing with the property over there we just
Downey
acquired.
Homes is, plus or minus 13 acres. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Commissioner Lopez, as
At
well.
the end of the day, you're ultimately responsible, so we
Yeah.
appreciate your input.
Yes, with the land trust.
So they're gonna put it here, and, okay.
So ultimately, this is actually a win for all of us, because at first, we were talking about just the development of housing. Now we're talking about the development of housing, development of a new school, so actually, our application has become stronger and more attractive.
It's a win-win for the city.
It's a
as well.
win-win for the city, it's a win-win for the Board of Education, it's a win-win for everybody.
So you went back after the presentation and offered the school board the option to be, have the school built here on.
That was a part of the
So
presentation.
he said it that night.
Okay. No, because they were really up in the air.
They were up in the air.
So, but when I'm,
All of it
What
now
the
is really
executive
just water
director
under the
said
bridge.
was,
We have an agreement that has
There was
been approved
a
by the
negotiation
school
going
board,
on between the
and now
housing
it's before
authority
the housing authority.
and this is the end agreement, plus with the vote last week. Let's move on.
And yes, here still to deal with the housing authority, with the board and the.
okay, so can I actually get the, which I haven't gotten the RFQ for the code developer yet. I still haven't gotten the relocation draft. I haven't gotten that from you yet. But I also would like to see the prints for, this project. I would like to look at them, if I could, please.
Okay. Any other questions on this resolution?
No, sir.
No questions being heard, roll call.
Commissioner Guerrero,
I'm going to abstain.
Commissioner Green, Commissioner Green,
She needed some.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rings,
Yes.
Commissioner Weldon,
Yes.
Chairman Gentry.
Yes.
Okay.
When you circle back, if she comes back on.
Come back on.
Yes.
Yep.
So that concludes the resolution.
That concludes the resolution. Now we'll just move to public session.
Good job, Chris.
Okay, so we have, Virginia Marshall.
I just wanted to give an idea on the laundromat that you guys were talking about. Like you were saying about, like the cards. I know like at Independent Gardens where my aunt and them live, they have what you were talking about with the machines and the, pen and everything. It would be good for the lighting, the cameras, and the cards, if that wasn't gonna work as far as getting the cards, and she was talking about, Commissioner Barrett was talking about the coding, that we can get it from management. So, it's labeled with the residents, and then on top of that, you can monitor who goes in and out, because it can do key card, per se. That way it's limited, people vandalizing, anybody coming in, just using a laundromat that's supposed to be for the residents. So that's just an idea to throw out there.
Will do.
Okay, Dorothy Lane. Barbara Evans.
No.
Joe Smith.
Yep.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm here on a couple of issues that really have bothered me from Trenton Housing. The last time I was here, I went away real humble, kept things to myself, and I moved forward. Just recently, I went to visit a friend of mine over at the Joseph Building. And he called and said to me that the director of security gave him a letter and told him that I'm not allowed there. This past October, I turned 66. I've been in the city of Trenton since I've been 14 years old. I have never been told where I cannot go at this age and time of my life because I am a product of Trenton.
That was a yes for me. I apologize, you guys. I'm in class. I'm trying to teach and I'm here too. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
She said she recorded a yes.
Said yes.
That was a yes.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I am a product of Trenton. I always will be a Trentonian. For someone to be able to tell me that I'm not allowed to be somewhere, I have a problem, and the reason why is because in the city of Trenton, that tells me that's like the type of gang activity that I've been used to. That you can't go on a certain side of town, you can't go on a certain side of the street. But at the same time, we have people that come here in Trenton Housing that are trespassing, but that same individual won't go outside and tell people there that they're trespassing. But you tell me where I cannot go, I got family and friends there, I can go there and visit. And I was there by 7 o'clock, 7:15, no more hours of visiting. So, I'm really disturbed about that. I'm really disturbed. And my problem with the situation is that if I was banned from that building, how come I went banned from the rest of the buildings? That's my question. That's something I need to ask the director of security. Because by me working this capacity for many years, I know the protocol. If I've been banned for one, I've been banned for all, but give me a reason why. Tell me why. Everybody has my telephone number. There's no reason why you cannot reach out to me. My number have not changed. I'm the same person that worked here for 7 years, the same person I'm here now. Speaking of 7-year period, I was here 7 years. Y'all need to take notice because it's going to be very important what I'm ready to say now. I've been here 7 years as a part-time employee. I work full-time hours, not paid into the pension. You need to ask yourself the question, why was this man working part-time on paper with full-time hours, but not being paid to the pension? Because that's a labor law. You need to check it out. I'll write down my homework. Because I'm coming with it next time. So, for me saying that is that, what does it take for a man to go away and be humble and don't bother the soul? Don't bother nobody. I walked away from you gracefully, and for someone to tell me that I'm not welcome to a public building, well, I cause no havoc, I have no confusion, I have not raised any sand, have not been disrespectful to anybody. This is the first time I've ever been told that I cannot go to anywhere in the city of Trenton. But now, make sure you take note of this. For the same man that told me that I could not go in that building, I want you to Google his name and see what you find. Ron Glover. Google his name and see what you find about this young man who got fired by the mayor of Newark. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you? I didn't know neither till a friend of mine that way called and told me about it. See, now I thought that was a personal attack on me when he got told I can't go nowhere. But the mayor fired him. So I want you to tell me what kind of person am I to work here 7 years and don't bother nobody, come to work, do my job, mind my business, and got a letter to say I'm no longer employed here. I haven't done anything to anybody. Have not done anything, but came to work. And anybody that knows me, I came to work and did my job as a professional. So I am appalled for him to be able to send another friend of mine a letter, as my grandmother told me, in black and white it exists. So it's in black and white. So please don't try to punish this man because he advised by telling me not to come to the building because he done what he was told to do. So don't go back and try to punish him because he relayed the message to me that they gave to him. Because I would have never known, he would never call and told me about it. So now, somebody need to be going down the road. You need to ask yourself why he's not working there, up there where he come from, instead of working here. That's the question you need to ask. Because the mayor got rid of him. He must have done something wrong. It's public record. Public record. So it's not like that. So I'm asking the board to consider about what's happening here. Because I love to get my 7 years of my pension. I got all my check stubs. I got my time sheets. On paper, I'm a part-time employee. But payroll, I'm a full-time employee. So as the board, take my telephone number down, 609-276-5718. You want to have a conversation with me? Please do, because we're going to need one. Because I got every news person I know that in my phone that I'm going to have a conversation with in the next 60 days about me. About me. I love my city. I'm a Trentonian. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. People that in this room, parents who helped raise me, helped me sponsor my kids throughout the city of Trenton, in sports and things else, I'm me. I have not changed in 66 years of my life right now. For a man to tell me, he could have called me, he could have texted me and said it to me, but no, he wanted to give it to somebody in the letter. You can't intimidate me. I am not the one you can intimidate to tell me that I'm not welcome to the building. So that's the message of the day. I hope somebody addressed that issue with him. And just ask him, not ask him publicly, but ask him the question, what was it that man done that he could not come in that building? That's the question that the board need to ask him behind closed doors. That's fine. And watch what you get. He can't tell you nothing. Because I haven't had a conversation with him. Haven't done nothing to him. Haven't said anything. But they're going to try to ban me for a public building for what? That's the question of the day. What did he do that he can't come in the building? Thank you very much for your
I
time.
have a
Thank you.
question for you.
Yes.
What building was this?
The Joseph Building.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Finally, we have George Daniels.
How everybody doing today?
Good afternoon, Mr. Daniels.
A lot of you know me, a lot of you don't. I'm a defender of black women. Everybody knows that. I'm a defender of black people. Everybody knows that. I'm a defender of mankind. But before I go into this, there's a question that I would like to ask first about 5 points. What are you planning on doing with 5 points? I heard y'all mentioning 5 points.
Okay, so let me just say this. Mr. Daniels owned a commercial property on 5 Points. So he did business on 5 Points. So that's why he's asking the question.
Oh, it's supposed in housing there.
You gonna be a housing there?
Housing development, yeah. I could go over it.
No, I just wanted to know because that
And it's like
What?
I have commercial space too.
at one time, 5 Points was the hub of the city of Trenton. All roads led through 5 Points. I used to have a steakhouse up there. Famous Steakhouse. I had Famous Steakhouse for 8 years up there. Then Urban Renewal came through, and that was the end of that. And they had a liquor store, they had a steakhouse, they had the vegetable market, they had a fish house, they had the shrimp boat, the shoe shine shop, the pool room. Across the street, they had the Sea Bar. Then they had a paint store. They had Willie Mitchell's restaurant. They had a furniture store. And a lot of people came into that area.
Kern soda.
Then you had Kern soda, but then you had the dairy down there, right down the street. You had a big old dairy where you could just drive in there. 5 Points was jumping in. A lot of people came through 5 Points, a lot of jobs in the number business and everything like that. But we ain't gonna get into that. But my question is, I worked at Trenton Housing Authority for 26 years. And I enjoyed every moment. I enjoyed working with the people that I worked with. I'm not angry at anyone. I'm glad to see them all look like they're doing good and looking good. I'm glad to see that. I shook Mr. Jelani's hand the other night, put him in shock, because he was surprised, because I told him he did a good job. And he did. And you did. And if you hadn't, I would have told you the same thing. That was terrible. That's the way I am. You know, that's how I live. But I don't know this, but the question that I have, the people that I work with, now they act like they don't know me. Y'all don't speak? You mean, you don't say hello? Oh yeah. Y'all don't speak, y'all don't say hello, you don't say nothing. And I'm just wondering why. All I ever did was put my life on the line to do my job. And anybody, and these ladies here can vouch for that. Because they used to see me out there at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, the only security guard out there. and you had 600 or 700 people out there. And I would just like to know why. I'm not angry at anybody.
I think, Mr. Daniels, if you support black women, and you support black people, and you support humanity, you should be supporting us.
I do support you.
That's what I'll say to that. You should be supporting us.
Well, why do you think I shook your hand and show you?
You should be supporting us 100%, because when I first met you, and you talked about where you came from, and you talked about your involvement in the civil rights movement, and what we're doing here kisses and embraces that. So it's all of this undercurrent of, and I'm not even gonna talk about, there's a whole undercurrent going on that we're not even talking about here. It's all in this room. It's an undercurrent. So if you about black people and you about community development and you about the upliftment, then you should be supporting me in this time.
I do
and
support
us and supporting the work that we doing in this time.
But I
and
do
stop
support.
the undercurrent of trying to undercut us and backbite us and talk about us when we're not around. Stop all of that, and as a people, why don't we get on board together so we can make some real change? So we can make some real change in the community. It's endemic in our community. Anytime that someone steps up, especially a black leader, a black man with a good idea, we always run to tear each other down. Always run to tear each other down. Here's a time when we have people coming together, people seeing the vision, people being encouraged and basically uplifted by the vision. You need to get on board with it and be a cheerleader and come and help us do it. Because what we're doing is going to make generational change.
Okay, now.
And I don't know about what
Let me get back at it. Let me tell you what y'all done to me. And this is why I said I'm coming for you. This is why I said it. But I'm not even about that now.
You just said you support me. Now
Yeah, I do support you. But let me tell you what.
Which one is it?
Let me tell you what you done for me. Let me tell you what you done too. And I was angry about it. So I really was going to come for you, but I didn't. I left it alone. Believe me, I was coming for you. Now, I came back here and worked. Freedom called me to take the seniors to the casino. 5.5 hours. I took to the casino. I took them like I normally do. Soon as I came back, the first thing they told me, you're not going to get paid because the person that told you to take these people to the casino, they wasn't authorized to do so. I said, well, okay, that's all right with me. So now, you're going to punish me, but you didn't punish him. So that's when I got angry and said, two can play this game. So I said, well, I'm coming for you. So after
There's so much.
After I talk, wait a minute.
So much misinformation. That's another thing.
Wait a minute, let me finish.
People have a hard time.
Let me finish.
A hard time following organizations.
Let me finish.
A hard
Let me
time
finish.
following instructions.
Let me
That's
finish.
the problem why our organizations always fail.
Let me finish.
Because people don't know how to follow instructions.
I'm gonna tell you
how
what
to follow
y'all
the
done.
chain of command,
I'm telling
how
you
to
what-
follow protocol.
I'm telling you what y'all done. I'm telling you what y'all done to me. See, if you're coming for me, you got to get me. So this is what happened. This is what happened. After they called me and told me that they wasn't going to pay me, I said, okay. But they didn't punish him for calling me.
Did you get paid?
Well, let me finish.
Did you get paid?
Yeah, a month later, 2 months later. 2 months later, I got paid 2 months later. And then I called you and asked for a meeting with you. See, I don't like to talk out in public like this. I called you and asked for a meeting, and I was told that you said it wasn't necessary to meet with you and Mr. Glover and Mr. Godfrey.
Thank you, sir.
I just got to stand up and first of all, I want everybody to Google my name and look at it. Right?
No,
No, please Google my name.
Leave it alone. Let
Yeah,
us speak.
please Google my name. Never fired, full pension, 26 years on the police department. If they could read, right? So I just Googled what they might have saw, right? And it says, no police lieutenant fired over guerrilla post. But who wrote the article? Lieutenant Ron Glover. Never fired. Call Raz yourself. For all the people that's going to be down the legal municipality, ask them. Haven't been fired. Didn't write a letter to Joe Smith. Right? Didn't. Nope. Right?
let it to the other guard for people, visitors coming in there while at his post.
Right.
That was it. Right. But you come to these meetings. Yeah, brother. You come to these meetings. Yeah, you was here for 7 years. You did so much.
You're right.
Right. You did
more than
absolutely
you.
nothing.
Did
for
more
the
than you.
community.
What change have you made since
What
you've
are
been
you doing
here?
now?
What change have you
Everybody
made since you've been
shooting
here?
out there, bro. Like you used to.
Yeah. What change have you made?
A lot.
You ain't made nothing.
Yeah. But you sit
Open
up
your
here and
mouth.
say I was fired.
Yeah.
You gotta learn how to read,
all
bro.
right.
Was never fired from any
Yeah.
job. You got a problem, man.
Be all right.
Right, you got a problem.
Yeah, I got a problem. You might got the problem.
Joe,
What's the problem?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Robert,
Yes, sir.
let him speak. When you
Let him
spoke,
speak.
he didn't say a word.
Good.
Mr.
Got it.
Glover, address the board.
Yes, I just want everybody to Google my name. Google it. Ronald Sanchez Glover. Google the name Lieutenant Glover. Google all of that. And you'll see everything that I've done for any community.
Now make sure.
Including this one. You going to interrupt me still, brother? You can't shut up now, right?
I can shut up.
Because you did a whole lot
I
for
can
this
shut up.
community. You did absolutely nothing.
Done a lot.
You did nothing.
Excuse me.
Talk to the board, Mr. Glover.
I'm done.
Okay?
Just Google the name.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We really need to shut this behavior down.
Yeah, Sanchez. That's it. With an S.
This is not working. Oh my God. You know what, now, we're gonna step out of public session.
So can we do commissioner comments?
We're gonna do commissioner comments.
Please.
Exactly what the director said. And church they call it all Commissioner comments. Just got nothing.
I do. Does anyone have commissioner comments?
I do.
Okay, so
I
I'll
do.
go after.
No, we go in alphabetical order. I'll have a problem going first. I have three. Number one, I wanted to thank Director Green and her team, Darren Green, for yesterday providing a shuttle between Josephson Avenue senior buildings and Stokes School where they moved the polling place to. That was proactive. And in extension to Director Garrett, that's proactive work, and just want to say thank you. Kudos to both Director Garrett and Mrs. Huff and the entire staff for moving the ball along on the Choice Neighborhood Grant. And third, I'm getting increasingly frustrated, and I want it for the record. And I've put this on, I've said this numerous times. We're 7 individuals, and we have seven individual personalities and opinions. Please do not speak for me, Commissioner Garrett. We say the board wants this. You and I haven't had a discussion for the board, so.
This is when we have a discussion.
So with all due respect,
Let him finish.
in the future,
Oh my God.
you can say, you can express your opinion if I agree
It's
with
not
it.
an opinion.
Please, you do not speak for this board. You speak for yourself, which I respect, and I will allow you to speak for, but you do not speak for John Raines, and I'm sick of it. I've put this on the record numerous times, and I want it on the record now, okay? This is not a personal attack.
Oh, I don't think it's a personal attack. I think you misguided, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll match my experience against yours, and this is personal, any day of the week in my experience here. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You know, I've been on this board a long time. I know a lot of the workers, over 30 years. And I find it so disturbing that every board meeting we have, it turns into chaos. And then I wonder why you think some of the people act the way they act. And I think we need to all check ourselves when we come to a board meeting, because to my knowledge, this is not how a board meeting is supposed to be ran. There are rules and regulations for a reason. There is an agenda to follow for a reason. And I think that we don't should stop having these attitudes when we come into the board meeting. It is 7 of us. It's okay to disagree, because at the end of the day, it's not about Jelani, who is the executive director. It's not about the staff. It's about these residents who live here. And I say this all the time. Without the residents, there will be no staff. Without the staff, there will be no executive director. So we all have to come together. We might not like some of the details that go on, but at the end of the day, we have to respect it. And that's the problem that I think people don't understand. You or everybody is in a role for a reason. When you get in a position to be the executive director, a supervisor, or whatever, then you understand why people have to do the things that they have done. They didn't just wake up in the morning and say, well, today, Ms. Huff, I need you to go outside and sweep the leaves up. No, that's not your role. You understand what I'm saying? We all have a role to do in our job. And you have to let people do their job in order to get things done. When things don't work out and you have a conversation, then you take it to the next level. We all know better. Everybody has a job. You've been in a job before. You know that there are rules and regulations. So stop coming up here acting like you don't have no home training, no sense, or whatever. Get your stuff in order. Come, present yourself right, and do what you need to do. It is about to be the new year, and I'm sick and tired. Sick and tired, sick and tired. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you come to the next board meeting acting up, I'm going to call you out on it. Because this has got to stop. I am not from Trenton, but I've been here a long time, and everybody say I was born and raised here and I want to see better, I'm going to start calling you to the carpet. Because if you want to see better, you got to do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, we continue as a board having these conversations. These conversations that we've been having, what John Raines spoke of, Commissioner Raines spoke of, and Commissioner Walden, these conversations are supposed to be done at a retreat. The board is not compliant. And we continue to keep having these issues with one another. We're not working with the administration. That's the point with the directors and the ED. We're supposed to be having 3 retreats. We were supposed to have them planned this year. Nothing was spoke about it. Everything is half done, half rushed. And excuse me, Mr. Raines, I've ran a department. I've been a chief of security. This is where we differ. Is that when you're used to being an employee, you don't understand when you're talking in a leadership role, you don't talk like you're talking, you're representing just yourself. So when I say board, I'm not speaking for you, but we all are a unit, a collective unit. So it means we're in unison. If there's something I'm saying that you don't agree with, then you speak on it. That's the purpose of this monthly meeting. So it's nothing personal, or I'm talking as a mouthpiece. We're not individuals. Excuse me, when we're on this board, we are a unit. We're not separate entities on a board. So when I'm speaking, I'm not trying to be ignorant, okay, and talking like it's all about me and bump whatever you think. I'm not thinking for you. But when I come here monthly, I am speaking as a unit. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, that's fine. But I'm not speaking for you, but I am part of the board. It's a unit. And we got to abstract our emotions out of it. Business, all this whole emotional stuff. We're taking stuff personal. When you come to this board, we're coming at the table, you can't come to the table with the emotional stuff. Even when the staff comes up here to present, it is my job. It is their job. This is a conversation. This is planning. This is strategizing. This is what we're here, monitoring oversight. When we come here and you're censoring or you're deciding what can be said and not said, you are preventing the board from moving forward. So it's okay, it's wrong for me to talk in unison because I'm not coming to this board meeting as an individual. I'm coming to this board as a unit. Yes, you're correct. We all have different personalities. Okay? I understand that. But yet, even though I may not disagree with you, I still take some of your valid points and I bring it to the table with what I'm saying. I don't say, oh, well, this is what I think. John said that. And I may not agree with it, but I agree with it. Like, you don't do that. That's not coming together. That's not team playing. That's not brainstorm. That's not how you work in unison. You don't pick and talk about, oh, well, I like this and I don't like. Get the emotions out of it. You got to leave that in the car. It's about, like Commissioner Weldon said, it's about the tenants. It's about overseeing the operation, how the departments are operating and making sure they are providing the services and they're managing those funds as based on federal and state statutes. And making sure those policies and whatever directives that are not being placed in those minutes are followed. So I think we all have a misconception about what our roles here at the board. I can't speak for the directors because they come here, they bring their reports, and we just seem to not get it. Because we're too busy, whatever it is you're going on, because I don't want to speak what's going on in your mind, but it just seemed like we don't understand that it's not about what us speaking individually. When we come to this table, we're speaking as a unit. I'm not speaking for you, I'm speaking as a board member. I should not be saying, well, this is what I think, with I. This is not a me. Board is not a me thing. So when you're used to running a department or overseeing persons, that's how you talk. You don't go into a meeting with your subordinates talking about what I want and what I think and what you need to do. That's not how you work. And if a bunch of subordinates, a bunch of directors come together and they're talking to a group of people within a company, they don't sit and go into me. What they say is, this is what we plan to do. This is how we're going to go forward. The other directors may say, well, I wouldn't approach it that way, but there's got to be a meeting of the minds. So when the executive director presents these board packages, we should be all reviewing them. It's not about thinking for you, but when I'm speaking as a unit. Not that I'm speaking for you. If you disagree, all you have to do is say this, you don't even have to say I disagree. You just say, well, this is where I'm at with what's been presented to us and what I evaluated. I don't know what you guys are used to, but like I said, I find in business, when I work with people who just only used to being an employee and not really knowing how to work on a higher level, it's always a bunch of conflict because you don't know your lane or your role and stuff. Not saying that you don't have the experience, but that's just what I'm getting, that, based on your comments. But we should have had a retreat. We haven't had a retreat. I've been on this board for 4 years, and there has not been a retreat. There's never been a meeting of the minds, nothing. And there's supposed to be 3 retreats. Rutgers could give it, and we haven't sat with the directors, and we keep going back and forth. People's feelings are getting hurt because we're not following protocol. We're not compliant. And back to here, what are we doing about not to go into in depth, we have a personnel matter that's lagging because we're having infighting and we seem to can't just even come to the table to even address that. And we're kicking it down the line. So enough is enough. You're wasting my time.
I'm sorry, one statement.
One statement.
One statement.
One.
Commissioner Correct, I just want to remind you that I had a retreat set up. I had the facility.
I recall.
And you rejected it, remember?
because you didn't give us the experience of the gentleman, and it wasn't a retreat to deal, was in line with what the commissioners should have been attending. And it was the price. And we didn't think the person had the experience. Not that you didn't try. I wish you would check, I wish you would actually check Rutgers. You are the vice chair. If you can call Rutgers or ask Rutgers if there is someone that they can help us with the 3 retreats, I would appreciate it. But thank you. I'm not trying to take away from your efforts. That was good that you did, because you did say that you were going to set up the first retreat, and you did come through. It just didn't pan out. But if you could follow up with that, you are the vice chair, just get us something by January. Call, because Rutgers has a program for commissioners, or any Narrow does as well. So if you could do that, I would appreciate it.
With that, what I would like to say, wow, this is so fast. It's easy to come to a meeting and find what you feel is wrong, ping on it, and blow it up, and make it become an issue. It's really sad when you have to take a bunch of grown people and get them to play in the same sandbox without fighting. The board can become a unit based on a decision. I'm just going to be part of the unit. You know, you make a decision to be in, or you make a decision to be out. At the end of the day, as Darlene would say, we're here for the benefit of the residents as well as the administration. We have a job to do. But as I heard today, the undercurrent is so strong that it's overruling our ability to move forward. The fact that we cannot move forward comes from individual decisions. If you come here and you're nitpicking and you're elevating the negative, you're not a part of the solution, you're promoting the problems. Everybody has a role to play. Whether you're a worker here, you're a tenant here, you're a commissioner here, or you're the director here. I might as well throw the lawyer in the bunch. Everybody has a role to play. And if you, as the commissioner said, if you stay in your lane, you do your part, we can pull this together without a problem. The thing is, when you're outside your lane. But by all means, because one thing life will teach you, acceptance does not mean approval. You don't have to like everything that go down, but sometimes you just have to go along with what's going on, because the majority feels that way. But all the negativity, you know, like I just sit back and I watch over the last few months how sometimes, and I say this to myself all the time, it's easy for tenants to come here and knock the administration, but tell something positive that you're doing as a body to make it better. Why? Because you live here. It's your home. Show some interest. Get involved. I used to say, I can remember coming up when we were growing up, especially the women in the neighborhoods, between PTA and community meetings and all that, they was involved. But we found a way to back up our other community. We have to re-engage. And the board has to re-engage as a body. Stop coming at each other and learn to be able to talk. A lot of times in a conversation, you have to be willing to hear what you don't want to hear, because it sometimes offends you. But if it's the truth, it's the truth. And sometimes you have to hear it. You don't have to like it, but you have to hear it. And without that, you'll never come together as a unit. And with that, I'm putting in a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved. For adjournment.
Darlene. Did you want to catch Green?
No, I think she went on.
Huh? Yeah, well, I'll come back, but I gotta get something for her.
I
Right, I mean, 6 to 8.
I'll let you know. By Friday. I'll let you know by tomorrow.
Wait, are we still recording?
Cliff, good job.
Guys, you all can.
Sanchez, 25 years of leadership. Sanchez.